Did you know that the Dachshund was once used as war propaganda by both sides? It sounds like a joke, but this elongated little body has carried much more than just a long spine. It carried flags, stigmas, and even suspicions of espionage. Just imagine a little dog with short legs, a face that always looks like it's judging your choices, and a walk that looks more like a comical parade, but behind this cartoonish appearance. The Dachshund, or as many call it, sausage dog, has a history that mixes bravery, political persecution, royalty, excavations, and tunnels. Yes, tunnels. Spoiler, maybe, before becoming a Sunday meme and the theme of winter clothes. It was already a symbol of resistance, and also of hatred. A breed that aroused love and contempt in equally exaggerated proportions, but the most intriguing thing isn't how it got here, but why it still acts like it owns the whole house, even though it's the size of a thermos. And what if I told you that part of the Dachshund's stubborn and even slightly resentful personality has roots as deep as its underground excavations? Today, we're going to dig deep, no pun intended, to discover where this audacious little dog came from, what shaped its personality, and in the end, I'll tell you the 10 reasons why a Dachshund might simply not like you. Stick with me until the end, because in addition to discovering the mysteries behind this breed's origin, you'll understand why it acts the way it does, and in the end, I'll even tell you 10 reasons why a Dachshund might not like you. Before we dig into the tunnels of history, let's take a close look at the creature that will guide us on this journey, the Dachshund. Official name, Dachshund. Average height, 5 to 10.5 inches, 13 to 27 centimeters, depending on whether it's miniature or standard. Weight, between 8 and 26.5 pounds for 12 kilograms. Group, hound, hunting dog. Origin, Germany. Original function, badger hunter. Yes, badgers, but why such a horizontal body? It wasn't for aesthetics. This peculiar design is pure evolutionary engineering. The long body and short legs allowed it to invade underground burrows during hunts. Courage, it has, and perhaps even a slight disregard for danger. Temperament, stubborn, courageous, alert, and, let's say, a bit temperamental. Despite its size, don't expect a submissive dog. The Dachshund thinks for itself, and if you ask it to sit, will probably ponder whether that's really necessary at that moment. But what leads such a small dog to act like a miniature general? The answer begins to emerge when we look at the historical roots of the breed, and, believe me, the origin of the Dachshund is much darker and more strategic than it seems. The history of the Dachshund begins long before social media and fluffy cushions. Its lineage spans centuries and reveals a past of strategy, survival, and purpose. We are in 15th century Germany. There, among dense forests and a subsoil inhabited by fierce animals, hunters needed an unusual ally, a dog capable of entering deep burrows, facing badgers, aggressive and territorial animals, and emerging victorious. Thus was born the Dachshund, literally the badger dog. But the Dachshund didn't appear overnight. It was shaped like a living engineering project. Precise crosses between hunting dogs, such as the French Basset, the Spaniel, and the German Pinscher, gave rise to this elongated body, sharp nose, and courage disproportionate to its size. These dogs not only faced badgers, but also foxes and even wild boars. Their short legs kept them close to the ground, while their keen sense of smell guided them through dark labyrinths. It was a dog for the underground, a creature made to win where others dared not enter. But the Dachshund was not confined to burrows. Over the centuries, it began to climb socially, and that's when its moment of glory began. When it stopped being just a hunter, it became an icon. If underground the Dachshund earned respect, it was on the surface that it became a legend. The 19th century arrived, and with it, European nobility began to see something beyond the hunter. Queen Victoria of England, passionate about the breed, transformed the Dachshund into a symbol of elegance and affection with her influence. It began to frequent palaces, cross gilded halls, and appear in court portraits. Now, no longer with mud on its paws, but wrapped in silk. But its stardom didn't stop there. In the 20th century, the Dachshund crossed the Atlantic and conquered the United States, becoming one of the most registered breeds in the country for decades. Commercials, movies, magazine covers, the dog that was born to face badgers now shone under the spotlights, and it wasn't just its appearance that enchanted, it was its bold, loyal, and theatrical personality. A dog that knew how to be cute, but also knew how to make a scene. A simple sideways glance or a dramatic bark was enough. It became the center of attention. But fame, as we know, is a double-edged sword. Soon, the same dog that paraded on the catwalks of royalty would become the target of harsh criticism and even rejection. If this story has surprised you so far, imagine what's coming next. Leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. The Dachshund's fame came at a high price, and it surfaced during the darkest moments in history. During World War I and World War II, the Dachshund, despite being innocent, found itself embroiled in a conflict of identities because it was associated with Germany, its homeland. The breed began to be viewed with suspicion in allied countries in the United States and England. There were reports of attacks on dogs of the breed in the streets, and many owners were pressured to hide or even abandon their companions. The public image of the Dachshund plummeted. The symbol of affection and nobility was suddenly labeled the enemy's dog. Breed registrations and official records dropped drastically. Some breeders even changed the breed's name to Badger Dog, or simply Teckle, a desperate attempt to avoid retaliation and preserve their lineage. And if that wasn't enough, The Dachshund also began to be the target of criticism in the canine world. Its long body and short legs, previously considered unique traits, began to be seen as exaggerations of selective breeding. Experts pointed out that these characteristics posed risks to the spine, leading many to question whether the breed's popularity justified its physical suffering. But the Dachshund, like its history, is resilient. It's been through a lot, but what does modern science have to say about it? Find out now, and if you're enjoying it, comment below. Have you ever had, or would you have a Dachshund? Despite being one of the most recognizable breeds in the world, the Dachshund still holds mysteries that challenge modern veterinary science. Its disproportionate body, with an elongated spine and short legs, is the result of a genetic mutation known as chondrodysplasia. This trait is what gives the dog its unmistakable silhouette, but also makes it vulnerable to a serious problem, intervertebral disc disease (IVDD). It is estimated that 1 in 4 Dachshunds will develop this condition during their lifetime, potentially suffering from intense pain and even paralysis. Even today, veterinarians and researchers are looking for more effective ways to prevent and treat IVDD without compromising the essence of the breed. But the Dachshund is surprising in another respect: its longevity. With proper care, many live beyond 15 years of age, living with energy and personality until the end. Furthermore, recent studies indicate that the Dachshund has above-average cognitive abilities among small dogs, demonstrating great social intelligence and adaptability. There is still much to be discovered. Why do some live almost to decades in perfect health, while others face difficulties from an early age? What genetic or environmental factors are behind this difference? But before science can answer, perhaps the Dachshund itself already knows. After all, it is much more than just a curious little body. And if you think all this is intriguing, wait until you hear the 10 reasons not to like this little dog. Prepare yourself, because what comes next may change the way you see this friendly little dog. As charming as the Dachshund may seem, some say that living with one is a real sausage-shaped challenge. Here are 10 reasons why it might not be the ideal dog for you. 1. Legendary stubbornness. It knows what it wants, and when it doesn't want something, it simply doesn't do it, not even with a treat. 2. Powerful bark. Don't be fooled by its size. The Dachshund barks loudly, a lot, and without ceremony. 3. Hunter by instinct. A heritage from hunting days, it digs, sniffs, and chases, even if it's just the vacuum cleaner. 4. Extremely jealous. If you give attention to another pet, prepare for drama. 5. Difficult to train. Its intelligence is undeniable, but its willingness to obey, not so much. 6. Physically delicate. Its spine requires extra care, especially with stairs, jumps, and rough play. 7. Possessive with food. It can become a mini guardian of the bowl and doesn't like to share. 8. Needs constant attention. Leaving a Dachshund alone for too long is asking for trouble. 9. Loves to dig. Beautiful garden, not always with a sausage dog around. 10. Too charming. That's right, you might end up letting it rule the whole house and not even realize it. But despite all these flaws, it's impossible to ignore. The Dachshund is something that wins over even the most skeptical humans, and in the end, perhaps that's precisely what makes it so special. And if you think you've already discovered everything about this breed, what's coming next might surprise you even more. Throughout this journey, we discovered that the Dachshund is much more than a long body and floppy ears. It carries a history of bravery, fame, controversies, and even genetic resilience. Through ups and downs, it has been judged, praised, and even misunderstood. But in the end, what remains is its unique essence: a fearless, loyal, and personality-filled little dog. It's no wonder that, despite its flaws, it continues to win hearts around the world, one bark at a time. Now, if you think that was the most curious story in the canine world, prepare yourself. There's a breed that almost caused a diplomatic incident between countries, was called an elegant phantom, and still holds a genetic secret that science is still trying to explain. Want to know what it is? Then subscribe to the channel now. Activate the bell and comment below. I want the next video. Your curiosity will be rewarded, and perhaps the next protagonist is spying on you right now from the other side of the screen.